Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome tonight to the Newell and Amazon University Esports Clash Royale tournament for Spring 2021. I'm here with Patrick and also with my co-caster, Watson.
Hello, and welcome to week 2 of the Newell Amazon Esports Clash Royale competition for the spring season of 2021. I'm very excited to see what goes down, and all thanks to our sponsorships from Unite Students, Logitech G, and Twitch Student. Without them, we couldn't bring this show to you.
That's most certainly true. Are you looking forward to it, Watson? How are you feeling?
I am really looking forward to this week. After a really exciting last week with everything that went on, I am really looking forward to see what goes down this time. It's
certainly looking to be quite a fight. Obviously, last week we saw quite a lot going on. Obviously, CPL did come in first place, and he's once again playing. And he only dropped one map or one match, and that was to Will, I believe it was. And Chocoholic, no, sorry. Yeah, it was Chocoholic. Nope, So Pro Bro, there we go, coming in second. And he lost to Mushroom, but came back and did beat Mushroom and Will. Unfortunately, he isn't here this week, though.
Yes, sadly seems to be unable to make it in time for the sign-in. Seems to be having, well, tilted on ladder, we could say. But he should be okay to get away with 1 week off, given how well he did last week.
Definitely. And obviously, we did have Will and Mushroom, the regulars, playing. Both, obviously, Will won last season, if you were there for that. And Mushroom came second to him. They came third both together, I believe, this last week.
Yes, they did. And I can imagine they'll both be disappointed with that placement and want to try and push a bit higher this time. And, well, we'll see. Especially with Sofa Brow out the way, they might be able to.
Oh, hopefully. And definitely looking likely. Obviously, we've got quite a few other regular contenders, like Samstar, who did come in 5th last week and was, I think, the entire season last season. And a pretty good player. I did play against him, and he's quite a good player. Hopefully, he can get a bit higher. Obviously, Xavier was a new player last season as well, but he's not here this week again, which is quite unfortunate.
Yes, 2 dropouts, but 1 new pickup, as one could say. Obi-Wan Rafobi has decided to join our ranks for this week, and he will be in our first game of the night against Mushroom, which we could easily say is a bit of a baptism of fire. Well, a good introduction, I think is the best way to put it, to the competition here at the Newell.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to put it. He's going to either sink or swim. So if he beats Mushroom, then it's definitely going to be very interesting for this tournament this season, because he's definitely a very strong contender. If he loses, who knows? He still could come back. So it's definitely going to be an interesting match for first to kick it off.
I know, losing to Mushroom would not be unexpected, even for a very good player. Anyway, what else? Looking also back at last week, we saw a lot of new things, including the new banning system, where both players will be able to ban a card for their best of 3. We saw lots of interesting bans, from Lava Hound and Balloon, to a surprisingly large amount of the use of Zappies, I guess to try and break down the stun mechanic that they bring, as well as even Fireball at the end, because we saw a lot of use of really consistent damaging spells to finish off towers and win games.
Yeah, we definitely did, and I think we're getting the bans through now at the moment. And Obi looks to be banning Knight, and Mushroom has banned Lava Hound. So, as you said, Lava Hound very common last week, and looks like we'll be seeing it again from Mushroom. He's not a fan of it, so
nobody wants to deal with the fabled Lava Balloon deck. It's the king of the airs, and it allows you to not worry about air defenses as much. Banning Knight is interesting. It's not an expected play, but I personally think Knight is an underrated card, and can see why it could be. Though I feel like there's so many alternatives to Knight that you could get away with. You wouldn't have to change your playstyle much.
Definitely, yeah. I'm definitely a fan of Knight personally, and yeah, he's very strong, very versatile. Quite only 3 elixir, so definitely worth his buck sort of thing. And but yeah, as you say, there's a lot of alternatives to it, and we'll have to see if that does offset Mushroom's plans. If he can come back with anything different, we'll have to see. Yeah.
I don't remember Mushroom picking up the Knight last week at all, but he could have done it, because it's the kind of card you would just forget about, and maybe Obi-Wan has something very particular up his sleeve that a Knight would just ruin the plans of completely. I'm hoping to see some really interesting decks this week. We saw so much variety, a lot of chip damage, not many big build-up decks, because they're really hard to control at this level of play, and I'm really hoping to see some more Hog Rider. Anyways, we're coming in now with Obi-Wan Fenobi versus Mushroom. And it looks like we've got a big elixir stack up at the moment, and Obi-Fun is seemingly playing a straight as Houses Expo deck. with the Tesla Tower in position. And it seems that Mushroom is struggling to come back with it. The Expo getting a fair bit of damage on the tower, but that Baby Dragon does take in a little bit, which is going to make things interesting. Mushroom with a slight Elixir lead here. Only slightly, and that could come into... They're both building up now. They both seem to be waiting. Mini P.E.K.K.A on the bridge for Obi, trying to make a play here. It seems to be getting through. No! The Whirlwind allowing for the tower to be activated, giving Mushroom that extra bit of defense that he might require to keep it going. And there's a bomb tower, which is going to soak up all the damage from that Expo. Expo, one of the few buildings in the game which can take out the enemy castle from their side. So it's a very defensive playstyle going for Expo siege units. But it seems to be paying off right now to be able to continuously get a bit of chip. However, the Expo is very expensive, so this deck, that's why they're both taking a long time to work out what to do at the moment. I'm struggling to see what Mushroom plans to push with at the moment. He seems to not have much in that respect. He's got his mini tank with his Valkyrie and his air splash with his Baby Dragon, but lacks a real push card. There it is, it's the graveyard, and the direct spell putting an army of skeletons right at the back, which isn't going to be as effective. Oh, well, it gets a bit of work done thanks to that Whirlwind. On the right-hand side, a wizard duel has just taken place, with the regular wizard winning out, as expected. But it doesn't look like Obi has much to push with here. Mushroom going in with a Baby Dragon, trying to make a play. Tesla Tower goes down to defend, and there is the Expo yet again. Got to keep cycling round to it. It's Obi's only really damaging move. I can now see why the Knight wasn't recommended for it. It's a very cheap, tanky card that could suck up a lot of that Expo damage. Yet another wizard duel at the bridge. This is a long, slow game. Both of them trying to build up and try and keep control of the elixir count. Mini P.E.K.K.A at the bridge with Baby Dragon. We're seeing very kind of simple gameplay here for our first match, if I'm straight. And there is a graveyard once again out the back, and it's countered with the Skami, but the poison will take that out. Log again, it's coming all down to the spell rotation there at the top. But damage is very much in Obi's favor here on the bottom right-hand tower, taking a massive hit and leaving it very open. But here is a push from Mushroom on the left-hand side of the match with a Mini P.E.K.K.A and Wizard trying to back it up with the Tesla Tower coming in now, but is he going to be able to make it through? Doesn't look like it. Once again, shut down. We're seeing very defensive play from both teams. No push really making it. That Barbarian Balax is a tank alongside the poison in the graveyard. That's going to get a bit of damage. But with the arrows, it's all cleared up. It's all dealt with. It's not a problem. Having said that, that's actually a fair hit. But Obi's still with the lead here. Now, can he build up enough elixir to get his Expo down? He has now, but he's left himself undefended on the opposite side, which he's now rushing. Mushroom's getting in there with what he can, but he's not got really enough. Can he get his graveyard down? Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to defend the Expo a bit from the bomb tower. However, it's not quite enough, and the Expo is going to go down without getting any damage. And Mushroom takes the lead from his left-hand side push, which is going to keep things interesting. Tesla Tower sitting there in its usual quiet state. Can't be hit by spells when down the Tesla Tower, which is why it works extremely well with the Expo. And the Skami at the bridge is going to leave him extremely open to the back-end Skami. Can't even place it down protectively alongside the poison, which is currently Mushroom's main form of attack, is just relying on poison, graveyard to keep going, and it's working. He is chipping away slowly but surely. While Obi is desperately trying to get that Expo to connect, but that's the risk with the Expo deck. Once it's locked onto the tower, it's a lot, but it's not going to be enough. And between the poison and the graveyard spell, Mushroom takes the first game through a very long, relatively slow game of chip and go, but it was still, all in all, deeply impressively played by Mushroom and very consistent.
Definitely. Whilst I did have a few issues connecting, I did actually see quite a lot of the gameplay, and thank you for carrying that, Watson. That was perfect. But considering, despite the fact that he lost, it wasn't a complete trashing, which some games have been, and it was very, very close. Only 1,000 HP left on his tower, I think it was.
Definitely. Obi did struggle once we got into extra time and double elixir, however. I think because Mushroom was able to keep pushing more units onto the opposite side, he was struggling to get enough defenses around that Expo, while Mushroom could just keep chipping away and not letting that Mushroom, that Expo even, connect to the tower, because that is a big issue. Once that does, that's going to get a lot of damage off.
It definitely is. And the thing is with Clash Royale, it's all about timings and always about elixir management. So like everyone knows sort of the basics. So the more practice he gets and the more he plays against people like Mushroom, the upper sort of end players, perhaps he's not had that much experience. So he adjusts to this gameplay and well, perhaps he'll win. We'll have to see as we do get into the next one straight away. As an Expo's down, but the Royal Giant has been put back down by Mushroom to counter it. It's a lot of damage to both of them, that and the Tesla. Actually keeps it on the field to do perhaps more damage to the tower.
Yes, indeed. Bringing a Royal Giant seems to be a pure counter to the Expo, which it pretty much is, being able to have that huge tank. But this is the Royal Giant Skeleton deck, which we saw quite a bit of last week, it would seem.
Yeah, indeed we did, and we'll have to see if it's perhaps more successful this week, and it's going to be tested versus, as we said, the newbie, which is Obi. And early on, it's not quite getting damage onto the tower. The bomb's been dropped, but elixir-wise, Mushroom's doing a lot better, and he's able to do a lot of damage onto the tower there.
And now we're going to see those Zappies, and we're going to see why everyone wanted to ban them last time, because it's going to be able to shut down that tower really effectively and get a lot of damage in for what is not a lot of elixir.
It's fantastic.
And the Royal
Look
Giant
at the Royal
again
Giant.
here. Yeah,
glorious.
It's coming in.
Down
And
to
Swami
684.
It's just nothing. Nothing's really there to stop it. Nobody's going to struggle against the Royal Giant, I think, with this deck. I mean, really, he's going to have to rely on Tesla and Mini P.E.K.K.A to keep it away. And, well, it looks like Mushroom's experience is going to be able to pay off for him, knowing how to counter that deck that was given, which was played against him last time.
Yeah, it definitely is. And once again, he has put down the Giant Skeleton on the right side, but Obi, he's countered it. Expo on the left and a Mini P.E.K.K.A as well. It's not going to be able to get to the tower just in time, but he's going to kill the Fisherman there. And the Expo is continuing to do damage, but not enough. The tower's still going to stay up, and that Giant Skeleton, just by hitting the right tower, is going to be able to take almost down, but he is going to fall to the Skeleton Army. The bomb will finish it off, and the Royal Giant, actually, is going to put down on the left side by Mushroom. He's going for a two-pronged attack, taking out that right tower. Him and the Zappies pushing on the left, but it's actually going to be deterred. The Tesla, sorry, and the arrows are going to shut it down. Damage has been minimized, but, well, he's going to have to destroy that left tower of Mushrooms, and that's not looking like anytime soon, unless he pulls up something big.
Indeed, and it's in Mushroom's interest to take out both towers, because once he has the Expo deck falls apart, because you can then get access to the far side of the river, a little bit of it, it means the Expo cannot be placed down safely like it is being placed now. And even now, it's at a big risk from being attacked on the right-hand side of it. But he doesn't really need to worry about it when you've got the Giant and the Fisherman able to clobber it to pieces before it even gets firing.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be a GG, essentially. Obi trying what he can, putting down the Mini P.E.K.K.A on the Tesla, but the Giant Skeleton, the Royal Giants, and the Zappies, they're all there to have some fun. Try to down that left tower, but not enough time. Regardless, Mushroom does win, takes it in 2-0 fashion, and a bit more dominant that time than the first time.
Indeed, very much his control, because he brought the deck that he knew would be able to beat what Obi had brought to the last game, and that was, you know, Expos get destroyed by a Royal Giant because he can tank the shots and he can deal the damage back, and the Fisherman added to that. It was deeply impressive by Mushroom there, and his ability just to control.
It's the perfect counterplay, and that's what I learned the hard way when you're playing these tournaments. You've got to have a large a range of decks. You've got to be versatile. You've got to know, or not know what they're going to bring out, but have something able to counter it easily enough. And if you play the same deck twice in a row, Mushroom, the upper players will or not whatnot, they're going to counter it easily, and you've got to be constantly changing, be unexpected.
Yes, and as we saw last week, pretty much every game, especially within the set, you brought out a different deck to play with to keep your opponent guessing on what you had. And the problem here is maybe it's the inexperience, new to the scene, or maybe it's just, you know, not really expecting this level of play. Obi didn't bring the second deck that's kind of required, but he will learn for next week, and he's not out of it yet. We do have a losers bracket for him to go in and hopefully make a bit more progress in.
Hopefully, we'll have to see if he does come back into it on the stream, or if he just goes down in flames after that trial by fire. But it's definitely interesting, and considering that we saw the potential in the first time, I'm looking forward to him hopefully playing more. If he does bring it back, if he switches it up, he's definitely a strong contender. Get up there with people like Samstar, like Xavier, and start getting some points on the board.
As long as he has more than an Expo deck, because these people will know how to tear that apart now, that's for sure. They've seen it done once, and they know how to do it again. So as long as he's got the variety of play, he's got a good chance of doing well. Especially Definitely. That first game. That first game was very impressive. He got more control there.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, once he's been read relatively easy, he can be taken apart, as we saw. But if he does get these range of decks, then yeah, by all means, he can take it to Mushroom. And if he gets the luck, if he gets the timing, if he gets the elixir management just perfectly, there's no reason why he can't beat him. Mushroom's a very good player, but he's not infallible. He's not undefeatable. And we saw that last week, the fact that he lost to So Probro, and I think it was CPL, wasn't it?
Yes, so, he was. He's not, these are great players, don't get me wrong, but they are not, imperfect. No, they're not perfect even. They are imperfect. They've got problems, they will make mistakes, and it's down to your opponent to exploit the mistakes, and that is Clash Royale. It's about trying to force your opponent to make a mistake and then getting in there, as well as management and placement and tons of other things that make it such a competitively interesting and juicy game.
It's also the cycling as well, actually, because perhaps if he got the wrong card out or didn't get the card out, and he wasn't able to bring the correct counter, if you understand what I'm saying, right? It can be very difficult, and sometimes you just have those games in ladder where you just get completely ruined by, oh, I need this card that's in my deck, but it's not in my hands. And if that happens, then it can just go completely wrong for you, and perhaps that happens. Who knows? If he had the correct cards, then he may have won that first one to get to a best of 3 or to the deciding map. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say, but I think we're watching them have a chat now, the players, and Mushroom brings up a very good point. He made the same opening move twice. Expo and Tesla Tower, straight in, both times same side. So he knew what was coming. He predicted it and read it like a book, and that was where you fall. Clash Royale, especially in these longer games, you've got to keep your opponent guessing on what you're doing next. I mean, that's true for all games of this nature.
Oh, it definitely is. Anyway, we're going to be heading to a short break, so stick around and, well, strap in. We'll be back soon for some very good action. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and once again we are back with some more Clash Royale action. And this match now, we're going to be versus Ivanovic versus Will, our reigning champion from the winter season. What are you thinking, Watson?
Well, yet again, we've got a Titan in the ring up against one of the fresher faces on the course, but it will be interesting to see how it goes down. Bans, as always. Ivanovic with that poison, interesting. It's usually seen alongside graveyard decks, which will probably mean that Will might have to not play one of them, or maybe he'll try and do it anyway. And Will has banned Flying Machine. Now, Flying Machine, as I said to you, effectively once on defense acts as a third tower, very powerful. It's made me think, is he going to try and bring out a Lava Loon? Because I feel Flying Machine's normally a good counter to that, not a perfect one, but interesting on that front. What are your thoughts with those bans?
It definitely is a counter. While not the perfect counter, it is a counter. And as you say, it's good in defense regardless, being that possible third Princess Tower, because of the range and the damage of it. But perhaps he's gone something different. Maybe he's not going Lava Loon. Maybe he's going for any other deck. It's a good card to have in there, and perhaps he's utilising it brilliantly. As we do get into it, we'll have to see. Kicking it off, and a Furnace has been placed by Ivanovic. Something slightly odd, and it does a little bit of damage early on to the tower, but he's going to drop the Skeleton Dragons, try counter it, see what he can do. Valkyrie at the back for Ivanovic, and, well, very quick start.
Yes, interesting to see the Furnace go down. It's the kind of thing which, if left ignored, will just start chipping away. And not even Baby Dragons, Skeleton Dragons. They always seem slightly... It's definitely an off-meta pick, at least from everything I understand, being very weak splash units, and not splitting them, which could be the course of this deck. Maybe we will see more of a split deck, as the Skeleton Barrel goes down, not making it at all thanks to that Musketeer.
Still does damage on the tower, though. Gets down to 2,000. A Royal Giant, that's been placed by Ivanovic. Skeleton Army placed back in return by Will, and oh no! The arrows taken down completely. Bats and Skeleton Dragons down in return. Do take it out, but a lot of damage has been done to his tower. They have got the counter fence coming in, but it's going to do a little bit of damage to that tower. In fact, quite a lot. Take it down to about even footing.
Yes, and you can see what Will was thinking there. Ivanovic is carrying both the log and arrows, both great cards for dealing with the Skeleton Army, and he thought one was out, so you might as well place it down, but he's got more than one. And Will, with one of the most expensive cards in the game and a big pusher, the Golem.
And, well, I was interested to see quite how he was going to make this deck work. As you said, very off-meta card sort of thing, and, well, we're going to see now. He's going to bring out the Golem. He's got the Skeleton Barrel as well. That's not actually going to get to the Furnace either. We'll be able to do a lot of damage and take down that Furnace, and the Golem may be able to get to the tower, do damage by itself, but it doesn't. It splits before that, taken down by the Musketeer and Valkyrie. And actually, it's not going to do much damage at all. And there's two cards down on the field for Ivanovic, and the Royal Giant as well to pair with it. And this could be disastrous for Will. If this is a lot of damage, with the Valkyrie covering the Royal Giant, this could be so devastating.
This is going to take that tower very quickly, and I think Ivanovic is going to be very happy with that trade there. He was able to make a lot out of that Golem placement. The Golem not having enough behind it to push. Furnace being another building to distract him. We have a clone of two sets of baby Skeleton Dragons causing a lot of splashy chaos, but is it going to do much tower damage? Yes, it does. A fair bit anyway.
So much damage. I did not expect the clone to be coming out, and that's absolutely devastating. He puts down the Night Witch, and she's just about to get to the tower. Can't quite destroy it. Skeleton Army down as well. He puts down another pair of Skeleton Dragons.
Will needs to connect something here. He's got less than 10. He's almost got 10 seconds on the clock, and there it is. He's brought it back.
Just about taking down that tower at the edge. He's going to have to expend so much elixir to do it. And Ivanovic may be slightly disappointed with that, but he is going to go straight back into it with the Royal Giant placed down. Skeleton Army to counter it. He's not going to do a lot of damage, but arrows not covering it, and well, the Golem's down once again for Will. If he can have once again a successful push, that clone could be the deciding factor. I thought he was done here, but he wasn't. He was not out of it by any means. Lightning once again taking down the Night Witch. Skeleton Dragons to cover the Golem, and well, this may be down and taking the victory for Will.
I think if Will can get this Golem push to the end of the line, which is looking like, especially with that clone spell just massively increasing the damage, this could... Oh, it doesn't look like it's getting enough damage off. He really needed to try and get this tower below half here. Oh, there's still a push coming, though. It's not quite over without the Golem. And this looks very good. Will might be able to clutch this back.
Yes, so much damage, down to 261 HP on that right tower. And Ivanovic, it's not even like he's got an elixir lead or anything. He's got one Musketeer down the field. He's going to place actually another Valkyrie in the middle. Should get neutralized by the tower and the Night Witch, but I don't think that's going to be enough. He's going to put down the Royal Giant as well instead. Try to do what he can, but the Bats, the Skeleton Dragons, they're going to take him down instantly. And Will, in the meantime, he's put down a Skeleton Barrel. He's plunged it. They're all coming in.
And the arrows come in. If any of those skeletons had connected pretty much, that would have been it. Game over, and Will would have clutched this back, but he just keeps it out. And this is now going to see a very defensive hold from Ivanovic as he's trying to get enough elixir for the Royal Giant and chip away. Oh, this is intense. This is a very close match right now.
So close. That Royal Giant can't quite take down the tower. Down to 420 damage. Skeleton Army Bats and Skeleton Dragons all chiming in. He drops down a Skeleton Barrel. Very skeleton-themed deck, but it's not quite dead. There's 75 HP left on that tower. He's trying. He's trying so hard. He drops another clone, and they're doing so much damage, but the time is coming to an end. He's going to drop another barrel, and, well...
Can Will get arrows in time is the real question. There it is, and Will takes it. That's the power of those guaranteed damage spells. At the end of the game, you can just win by chipping and chipping and chipping. But what we saw there was... Wow. That was a fight.
That is phenomenal. The second week in, and Ivanovic, a newcomer that we had absolutely zero expectations for, and he almost beats the reigning champ. That is fantastic. I can't wait for the second one already.
That was amazing. We saw some absolutely amazing plays. I was really surprised by Will's deck there. That was a lot of stuff we weren't expecting. That clone spell came out of nowhere. A golem, even. It was just very kind of, I guess, splash-able, which is why Ivanovic had that advantage with the Furnace, which just allows you to keep getting rid of that splash. But Will Will kept pushing, and he eventually broke through those lines and got enough damage on the tower. And like I say, at the end of the day, if you've got a damage-dealing spell, even if it's something like arrows, which is not a huge amount to the tower, it can still win you the game in those final seconds.
Those arrows, they're probably the most crucial card for both players in that match. They were trying to cover the Royal Giant, trying to cover the Golem. They were essential. And as you said about that clone, that was, I was so surprised. I was, what is that? And the fact that Ivanovic, we're casting. He was probably more surprised than us, and he was thinking, oh god, what's happening? Because obviously, no HP, but the damage is phenomenal.
Yeah, clone is a moment where you just start panicking. Let's see what they've brought in this time. Will's already going straight in with the Barbarians on the left-hand lane after an unsuccessful barrel attempt. Well, a somewhat successful barrel attempt. But the Valk's not going to be enough to take them out, and they're going to get a few swings off. Oh no, there's always a log.
This is the thing with casting. You always say, oh, this is going to happen, and then the exact opposite just happens. You don't get it. You're about to hit. Oh, no, the log comes in. Okay, fair enough.
So it looks like Ivanovic is going for a Hog Rider of some sort. We can see him up there. One of my personal favourite cards. There's nothing like Screaming Hog Rider as charging into a tower. While Will is once again going for a skeleton-heavy theme deck with that Skeleton Giant and Cannon Car. A very powerful unit if it can get to the right spot. Even if it can't, it's still very powerful.
Oh, definitely. Very good on defense and attack. And, well, not quite good as support as the Skeleton Giant, or Giant Skeleton, sorry, does get taken down. Can't quite support it, and the bomb damage is absolutely nothing. It's in the middle of nowhere. As he tries to attack on the right side, does a little bit of damage, but the Valkyrie on the right side for Ivanovic, he's going to do quite a lot, get it down to 2,000, even more. The Furnace on the left side as well, that can do a lot of chip damage. It's going to run out soon, but well, we'll have to see what he can counter with it. Early on, Ivanovic did, I'd like to think he had the upper hand. Will obviously turn around in the end, and we'll have to see if he can do that once again. Build up the Elixir leads and swing it back in his favour.
It's interesting to see that Will just left that Valkyrie to do its work on the tower as he now pushes in with a split push between a Hunter and a Giant Skeleton. That the Hunter's going to get eaten away between everything that's there, and the Giant Skeleton hasn't got much behind it. I say that, the arrow spell gives it a massive opening to make... Oh, there's always something else. There's always another card. You could always feel Will's frustration with, oh, there's something else to block it, there's something else to kite it. But this push coming in on the bottom right does look pretty solid between the Electro Wizard and the Valkyrie, but again, it's going to get torn apart. This is the thing. Can you tear about the attack and then convert it? Cannon Cart, is it going to do much stuck in its space?
Indeed, on the right side, it definitely did a lot of damage to the Electro Wizard, and I think indeed to the Valkyrie right at the end. Obviously, Skeleton Dragon's down there to support it. He puts Hunter right once again on the right side, but he didn't really do much at all last time that happened. But this time, he's pairing it with the Skeleton Barrel. He's going to be flying in, hopefully get to the tower, and it's looking like it may do. Giant Skeleton on the left side being a massive distraction, a massive nuisance, getting closer and closer to the tower. But that log negates all the skeletons, and the bomb, despite not getting to the tower, is going to take down the Witch, and that's 5 Elixir gone off the board for Ivanovic. And it's still relatively even footing. The baby Skeleton Dragons on the left side down, finishing off that Furnace, and the Cannon Cart on the right side will get taken down by that Valkyrie. So it's staying pretty solid between both players.
It feels like Will is using the Skeleton Giant as a, you have to deal with this, because they do. If that Skeleton Giant gets the tower, it doesn't matter how many times it punches, that bomb's going to do a lot of damage. So I feel like that's more of a distraction play for what's on the right, but neither are making it. And there is Ivanovic's last card, and it is, well, the ladder stomper, that is the Mega Knight. Let's see how that gets dealt with.
Look at this push, though. Valkyrie and Hog Rider on the left side, perfect. Valkyrie not quite able to do as much damage as perhaps you'd like, or perhaps Will would like, the Barbarians, but the Hog Rider does get a few hits in, does do even more damage. The counter from Will almost does a lot. The Skeleton Barrel does get to the tower, but it's instantly neutralized by the log, as well as the Valkyrie on the left side. Takes down that entire push. The Barbarians, the clone spell not working out, and the Cannon Cart can't even get a single shot onto the tower. And Will's going to be frustrated here. He's not breaking through. And Ivanovic, he's just holding so well.
I want to know if Will's on some sort of bet to use the clone spell throughout this tournament, because he's just used it there almost in a kind of desperate attempt. And it just seems to want to use it a lot. But Ivanovic here with a strong tower advantage when you're looking on the left-hand side of the field. And with a minute left, just under a minute left on the clock, and if that hits 0, it just comes down to damage left, we will see if they can make much of a play. However, well, there's a big push coming here now.
Oh no, this is looking disastrous for Ivanovic. He's got a hold on, he's got 18 elixir leaks. Perhaps that would have came in handy as this push is coming in. The bomb's down, not quite able to get there as he puts down arrows, but Will is not stopping the cannon cart, able to do so much damage. The clone comes out as well. The giant skeleton basically getting to the tower now. He continues, the log not able to do anything as the baby skeletons, baby dragon skeletons, they finish it off. They do damage to the tower. And once again, we think Ivanovic is winning. And, well, Will comes in clutch.
Indeed, Will just kind of appeared in that one and just took it. I mean, that's the clone spell's job. You can have a pretty scary looking push going, and then you put that bad boy down, boom, it is now a terrifying push, especially when he'd baited out the arrows and the other easily clone removing spells that we saw there. Very, very well played by Will. I think we underestimated him in both of those matches at one point, and then he just goes and proves us wrong with consistent play.
That is always how it goes. Like, whenever you watch a Will game, however many I've watched, it's always him going, he's on the back foot, he's on the back. Oh, never mind, he's won. He consistently does this, and this shows why he won last season. He's such a good player, despite being on the back, or what do you think is the back foot? He just comes back in and sweeps it. Beautiful.
Maybe that's why he sweeps it. He brings a level of confidence as an opponent and kind of tricks them out, makes them think, oh no, I've got this one in the bag, and then they make a mistake and then he wins it. That possible? Could be that's what he's doing? I don't think so. He's probably just trying to win.
We said in chat that that he did awesome. He was very scared in the first game. So the fact that he said he was scared, perhaps he's just giving Ivanovic some confidence, but perhaps he was genuinely scared, and it could have gone either way. So either way, that game, regardless, it went to overtime both times, and Ivanovic's definitely a strong contender for this future tournament.
Definitely, he put a lot of effort in there against Will, and I feel Will only was able to win that because he could get those last 2 pushes and they hit hard. If Ivanovic had just, found a card or maybe a single placement better that had just stopped anything from reaching the tower, because sometimes that could be the case, just like the furnace is in a slightly different position, nothing makes it to the tower instead. And that, then he would have won just for the slow chip damage. But yeah, Will's a player who the damage just appears. You look like you're winning and then suddenly there's 2 giant skeletons chasing you and they've got big bombs.
And you think, oh, okay, well, GG. Anyway, we're going once again to a short break, and we'll be back relatively soon with some even more Clash Royale action. Hopefully, some brilliant games as the bracket does begin to tie up. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, we're back with some more Clash Royale action, and once again, I'm here with Watson. How are you, Watson, after that very short break?
I know, we barely get a moment to breathe and think about everything that just went down after, like we were saying, a couple of amazing matches. But do we have something lined up for you? The Clash of Titans, Mushroom versus Will. Oof. How do you feel this is going to be an explosive match?
Oh, definitely. That's underselling it. Is explosive. They've clashed, no pun not intended, so many times, and consistently, Will wins, Mushroom wins. There's no one coming out on top, and I believe Mushroom won last week. Did he?
Yes.
I think they clashed. Yes,
they did.
So
Mushroom happened to come out, but it could go either way. Is the thing with these two? It's just so impressive to watch. The trainer, the master, and the apprentice, as such, as some people like to point out, clash it out, again, pun intended, and just see who comes out on top with two bans, as always, Lava Hound and Poison, as we come into this game, which is going to be interesting.
Oh, definitely is, and what Will, perhaps a bit scared of that Lava Hound, is going to not be seeing it on the board today, as Will brings out actually a different deck from what we've seen. Obviously, the last two consisting of quite a bit of a clone push, best to say. We're obviously very skeleton orientated, and this time he's going out for something different, a minor deck, which is the Hunter as well. And Will, he's countered with a slightly more range-based deck with obviously the Dark Goblin and the Princess.
Well, that combination screams log bait to me, Princess and Dark Goblin, especially with the Goblin Barrel. That's definitely what we're playing here. With Mushroom, yet to really show a kind of key card, but you know, minor does do a lot of damage if it's left through. It's a scary thing in minor. You just kind of let it happen. You just place it down while another big fight's going on the other side of the match, and then oh no, I've lost half that health, half the health on that tower. It's a scary move.
It's always how it happens. And well, Mushroom, he is dropping that minus to take down the Princess, and not a bad trade. It's going to save him some inconvenience later on. As the Knights, we talked about it earlier, he was banned, and well, he's not been banned this time. Will dropping it off, drops the Goblin Barrel as well, but Mushroom perfectly predicts it. Drops that log, takes him down, no damage, and actually Mushroom counters with a Knight of his own. Not going to be able to see or do anything while that Skeleton Barrel Boy drops Archers instead to take it down and not do too much, neutralise the damage on that tower. Actually, Archers and a Knight, I was going to say, it's a promising push, but the Princess from far away does take down both Archers, and the Knight only gets, 2 hits, there we go, on the tower.
Mushroom sitting on on a lot of elixir right now. He's still got 2 cards to play, and we're not really seeing a full kind of real push card here. I mean, I'm expecting the clone spell still to appear from Will in that last remaining card, but we'll see. This feels like a deck which definitely doesn't work with it. But Will just kind of relying on the bait and lightweight cards. We're still waiting for what is Mushroom's big push as we enter double elixir. This is where the chaos can truly begin.
Definitely begins here as the Princess is doing a lot of damage on that right tower, and that may come back to haunt Mushroom down to 1664 damage. And look at this, there we go, there's the balloon. It's the 9th card that Mushroom has. He drops it, and Will, he counters with that Inferno Tower. That's his final card. But the Archers, they're up so close, and the balloon completely bypasses the tower. And look at this damage. Does 1 hit, does a second, and that bomb may just be able to finish off that tower. Well, Mushroom, sorry, he's going to defend here. Drops the log, takes down 2 players, drops the bomb tower. That's the 10th. And this may just be victory for Mushroom. He's trying to hold on. Drops those Archers, takes down that Goblin Barrel. 68 health left on that tower for Will.
And the Miner, or the Snowball, or the Log will be enough for Mushroom to claim that tower and win the game. Very well played there from the University of Bath student. I mean, that game, yeah. The balloon. You got to not let it through. And we were talking about placement, I think, earlier in one of the matches. That's placement.
Perfectly done.
Muck up where you put the Inferno Tower there. The balloon just gets to stroll on through all the chaos. Just don't mind me. Drop a couple bombs. Damage the tower nearly completely. And then you can just spell it out. And that, you know, learning, you rush, you panic in the moment. You place something in just the wrong place. 1 square placement wrong. And that's the result.
Exactly. Will thought he had the perfect counter. Even though, like, if the placement was perfect, obviously the Archers sitting there, they were going. It was toxing the Archers instead, and that just completely negates it entirely. And obviously, the placement being a massive crucial factor, the fact that the balloon went to the tower as well, and late game, 30 seconds left? I don't think Will was quite expecting it. Obviously, he had the counter for it, but it just didn't work out. We'll have to see quite quite what happens in this game. Will kicks it off with a Barbarian Barrel, drops it down, not able to get to the tower. And Mushroom, once again, has archers.
Yeah, well, archers are a standardly useful card. You can put them down anywhere and they can do quite a bit, but especially on defense anyway. But here we're seeing Will's one of Will's signature cards so far this tournament, that's for sure, at least this week, which is the Giant Skeleton and that Big Bad Bomb.
Big Bad Bomb indeed, can do a lot of damage. The question is, will he be able to get to the actual tower? Mushroom, he's dropped a bomb tower right in the middle of the arena. It doesn't look like he will be this time. And well, Will, he's going for something very different. He drops down a balloon, tries to get to the tower by himself, but the Mega Minion dropped by Mushroom. He's going to take it down, not get to the tower. The bomb will do damage, but nothing substantial.
Will bringing the double bomb deck of Skeleton, Giant, and Balloon. Well, we'll see. That definitely feels like this could bring back Clone. I think the Clone spell's back for this one. Definitely.
As soon as you say that.
Yeah, as soon as I say that, it won't be there. We'll see how Mushroom deals with it. The bomb tower will be useful against the Giant Skeleton, but I mean, it will at least aggro the Balloon. And the Miner coming in now. That's going to have free range. Not quite, though. There's always another card.
There always is indeed. And well, at the start, I was thinking Mushroom was playing the exact same deck, but then he goes to this psych, swaps it around, and look at this. Here we go, the Graveyard coming out from Mushroom. Not quite able to do too much damage. Has a few hits on there, and actually does quite a lot as it goes down in HP, down about 1,000. It's a lot of damage. But Will, he's got quite a few cards on the board. Baby Dragon there drops the Balloon as well with the Giant Skeleton up there. And if he gets to the tower, which he may do, he can do so much damage. The bomb's going to be dropped. The Balloon not seeing any damage so far. That Tornado from Will not going to do anything. The Snowball's the perfect counter, pushes it back out as the bomb, from the bomb tower does finish it off indeed. This is looking very comfortable from Mushroom.
Great use of Snowball there. One of the few spells with that extra bit of knockback that just gives you the time. And here is Mushroom with Graveyard and just a simple Knight tanking. We were talking about the Knight, underrepresented card, like, well, just kind of a medium, not really considered major. You could put it down with pretty much anything, and it massively improves your output. And as you saw there, it just allows it to tank for the Graveyard as it takes the tower. And here come the double bombs again.
Once again, they're pushing him once again to the middle. The Snowball is once again perfect. And this is played so well by Mushroom. Will just not able to catch a break, not able to get to that tower. Drops the Miner. Baby Dragon's already dead. Drops the Barbarian Barrel, but nothing's possible. Fireball completely extinguishes it by Will, but he drops the bomb tower on Will's side of the map. And he just completely neutralizes the
That's just the taunt, that bomb tower at the end there. That's
really
just like, no, you're not. Just go home, mate. And there we have Mushroom winning 2-0 against Will. An interesting outcome. We thought Will would probably put in a few more scores than that, where I was expecting a 2-1 either way, but they were still relatively close games. I wouldn't say that second one was.
Oh, yeah, no, Mushroom dominated there. Again, that's the thing with Clash Royale. You think, oh, you're worried, there's a push coming in, but then Mushroom, unlike Ivanovic, he just swept it aside. He pushed him towards the bomb tower, put down the cannon cart, used the Snowball perfectly, and just completely negates everything. And that's, well, that shows why Mushroom is one of the top players, as he beats aside Will with, as we said, relative ease. Perhaps more than he was expecting, more than we were expecting. Definitely. And that's him securing the final for this week.
Oh, yes, it is. Wow, time flies, doesn't it, when you're seeing such amazing gameplay. What we saw in that second match was the winning plays were good building placement. First match, we saw the loss come from a bad building placement, and this one we saw it from amazing use of the bomb tower, aggroing just everything, and the bombs didn't go anywhere. There was lots of explosions, but they didn't do anything interesting.
That's one way to put it. Loads of bombs, but nothing quite interesting. And well, with that, Will obviously isn't out of it. He's down to the lower bracket, and we're waiting on Hobie versus Ivanovic to see who comes out on top of the two newcomers. Whoever wins that will be playing the winner of last week, CPL. Whoever wins out of that will be playing Will, and then whoever wins out of that will be playing Mushroom. So that's a hell of a route if either Hobie or Ivanovic want to get back into this.
Well, it's always an uphill battle from loser's bracket, but it's always possible, and that's why loser's bracket is there. If you lose, it's not all over immediately. You know, we make mistakes. You come against someone you know who will easily beat you. That doesn't mean you're not one of the better players here. Especially,
like we said about learning, not necessarily even as weeks go by. It was Obi at the start, obviously played the same deck twice, Hopefully with that he thinks, hang on a minute, I can't do that. Has changed it up. Maybe he beats Vanovec in the bottom bracket. Maybe he comes back and beats Will. Who knows? There's countless possibilities with this. Maybe CPL comes back and gives Will a fight for his life. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, we will be right back with more Clash Royale action, sponsored by our sponsors, Logitech G and Unite Students. See you right after this.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and we're once again back with some more Clash Royale gameplay. And this time, it's Chocoholic 2000 versus our returning newcomer, Ivanovic, who just beat Obi in the lower bracket.
Well, you say newcomer. He was here last week, but newcomer to the season. Yes, and we have two new bans, as always. Ivanovic has banned out the poison spell, which we've seen quite a few bans for this week so far. And Chocoholic, for the furnace, has decided he does not want that continuous spawning of little fire and nuisances to remove all of his, I guess, splashy stuff. You know, we're going to see Scummy, Goblin Gang from Chocoholic from that pick. That'd be my suggestion.
Well, we'll just have to find out. Perhaps he will. Perhaps he's going for something spicy, or perhaps he's just throwing it off. Who knows? As the Hog Rider put down very early, Ivanovic putting that on the left side of the map, and Goblin Cage. It goes down to counter it, and the Hog Rider isn't able to do any damage to the tower. And I actually love this card personally. It's very good, very versatile, and he is just about able to get a hit onto the Electro Wizard. And it does a lot of damage. Despite having quite low HP, he can do a lot of damage, and that does soften him up for the baby dragon.
The Goblin Cage is the closest thing to the wall card we're ever going to get. It's a building, it just sits there and does stuff. But then, at the end of it all, you've got a glass cannon there to be able to work with on a counter push. I think it is very interesting. What we're seeing from Ivanovic is seemingly another Hog Rider push, with especially arrows and things like that to deal with Splash. We're not sure what Chocoholic's really brought to the table yet. Everything we've seen so far is relatively defensive. But apart from that lightning spell, I guess, but still not, you don't push with lightning. You push with a card, at least normally.
I mean, maybe he's in the new meta. Maybe his damage is lightning. He just puts down a bunch of support cards and then drops the lightning and does damage. Who knows? It's obviously done a bit of damage to the tower already. We see the Dark Knight come out along with the Ice Wizard supporting him, and can that just about kill that Electro Wizard? But look at this, Mega Knight coming out from Ivanovic, and that's going to do a lot. Electro Wizard behind him, still not dead with a slither of HP. Goblin Cage put down in retaliation to the Mega Knight, and that could do a lot of damage. Obviously, both towers now chiming in, can get that bonus jump damage, but he goes down to that Goblin in the cage. He's hench, a lot of damage done, and finishes him off.
That is the great thing about the Goblin Cage. Once the cage is dealt with, you've still got the Goblin. That's a lot of tanking, really. We're seeing kind of similar to how a lot of shielded units work, only I guess they were building beforehand. Anyway, another Hog push on the right with a Witch backing up. Isn't going to do a huge amount, but is going to get a couple hits on the tower to almost even things back up, but Chocoholic definitely with a clear lead looking at that left-hand side. But this right-hand push is going to get completely destroyed by the log, because it's the log. It does that.
There we go, the final card on Chocoholic's deck. And it's the Electro Giant, I believe it is. 8 Elixir, so it's very expensive, but he's got all the cards to support him with. We haven't seen it too much, and he is a relatively new card, so we'll have to see how Ivanovic can counter this. Drops the Electro Wizard at the back, has the hidden Tesla as well in the middle to deter him, to bring him away from that. And the Lightning comes in, strikes, a lot of damage to the Valkyrie, takes down the Electro Wizard, and the Mega Knight coming in to do what he can as well. Chocoholic actually in preparation for the counter push is going to drop that Goblin Cage. And the baby dragon still alive is going to do a lot of damage, almost finished off that Valkyrie. And that's actually very good push from both of them, but also very good defense to basically nullify it.
Yeah, Chocoholic's defense, they're really important. I think the Electro Giant is going to struggle in the deck he's up against. The Electro Giant thrives on dealing with lots of small units and close range stuff, and the Electro Wizard and the Witch, and even the Mega Knight's going to be able to tank those counterattacks that he's able to pull off. And as a result, I think it's going to struggle. Having said that, here it is connected to the tower, doing ridiculous amounts of damage as I speak. The curse of the commentator.
Indeed. That's exactly how it goes, and I think Ivanovic knows that the jig is up. 266 HP left on that Soul Tower. He's going to try and do what he can. But the push, it's not stopping Chocoholic. He's just unrelenting to try and do more damage, but actually Ivanovic is going to push back. Tornado is going to finish with the Electro Wizard, Witch, and Valkyrie behind the Mega Knight, but he's taking so much damage, slowed down by the Ice Wizard. He's going to drop the Hog as well, and this actually is a counter push. Could be devastating. Barbarian, Barrel, Baby Dragon, and the Dark Knight all doing what they can. They're going to stop it just about. Take down every single player, every single character.
However, Chocoholic is sitting on that lightning spell, and that's pretty much going to be enough. Oh, not quite! But the tornado will be. See, it's the power of direct damage spells. I feel like Chocoholic sat. I don't know if he sat on that waiting for a safe opportunity to pull it out, knowing that it would only do not enough damage for the victory. I mean, if that is the case, that's knowledge of how much damage your cards do. That's like real understanding of the game. If not, he was just trying to make sure he was safe by getting that defense done, which is an equally fair thing to do. But Chocoholic with the first win there. very impressive.
Yeah, very slow game, and obviously coming in with that push, the Electro Giant did so much damage at the end, and obviously like the spell damage, the rocket I think was relatively recently nerfed, which we saw a bit last season. Obviously, basically non-existent this season. The lightning perhaps uses an alternative, but also able to hit 2 more damages, not as much damage to the Crown Tower, but takes down 2 units, takes down the Electro Wizard. That's 4 Elixir gone. You've almost got your money back, or your Elixir back in this case. So it's very devastating. We'll have to see if he does use it again as we get into the second match of this best of 3. Colleague wish him a bit of good luck, and here we go. Here comes the Lava Hound, dropped by Vanovic.
To avoid this all night. Everyone's been banning it. They were banning it last week, and as soon as you don't ban it, someone's going to play it. Now, are we going to see the full Lava Loon combo? And what's Chocoholic going to have to deal with it? Is the real question. Baby Dragons, it looks like the case. They're both going to have their tanks marching on forward, and it's just going to see what goes down from here. Lava Hound's already in. That's not going to end well.
That is true, but can't do too much damage. Obviously, he's just a tank card, and unlike the Electro Wizard, his damage doesn't do much at all. He's eventually taken down. Tornado is able to basically finish them off as they're picked apart by the Princess Tower. Baby Dragon as well. Dark Knight, a good distraction. Can't quite get the charge damage onto the Electro Wizard before he's stunned. It's a good push from Ivanovic. Takes him down to 1900 HP on the tower. That Barbarian Barrel perfectly placed as well. And considering the match in terms of Elixir, that's actually very good for Ivanovic.
Ivanovic just ahead on that, and with the damage advantage. The Electro Giant was basically acting as a wall, trying to stop any support for that Lava Hound coming in, which it can do pretty effectively, especially with the counter-attack. But it just couldn't make it. It's not got the health. I mean, it has a lot of health, but it's still not got the health when all that stuff was raining in on it. And it just struggled. And here we go again. Very similar to the start of the match. Let's see what happens differently. Because that's where
absolutely
people
nothing
learn.
so far. As well, obviously Ivanovic does have that hidden test as he just puts it down, just as I say, and this is the difference. Goblin Cage coming out from Chocoholic. I assume he didn't have it in his deck the first time or in his hand, whereas now it does go down. The Fireball is able to support it, finishes off that Goblin, who's going to come in and try to do what he can. Baby Dragon able to take that apart. Here comes the Ice Wizard. He's going to stop the little lava pops from doing any more damage. Should be able to take down that lava Baby Dragon from Ivanovic's side. And basically the exact same thing happens, except this time Tornado's not used to take down the lava pups. Instead, it's the Goblin Cage distracting the Lava Hand. And here we go. Balloon, the last card of Ivanovic. He's going to put it straight in there. Going to do what he can. Lightning, used defensively. He's going to finish them off.
It just shuts down the push. It's just, no, I don't want to have to deal with that. Don't want to have to deal with that. And the Fireball goes for the Baby Dragon, and we're back at square one. Ivanovic with just about a 300 health lead on those towers. And Chocoholic's gone, you know what? Let's go for the other side. Let's just try and break this bit. Kind of stalematey. Let's force 2 lanes of play.
Indeed, he has gone for that. The Tornado is going to bring the Electro Wizard in nice and close, because the Giant's trying to get to the tower, but his HP is already so low that Baby Dragon can try to finish him off. There's going to be just about charge damage on that Dark Knight. He's going to do loads of damage. Tremendous. Down to 1200. And that Lava Hound on the left side has been completely taken out of effect by that Goblin Cage. Obviously, the Lightning does finish him off, but he can get to the tower, do even more. And, well, going to do more damage. Take it down to 1200, but the Lava Pups, they can't do too much at all. But as I say that, the Ice Wizard tries to do what he can. Just enough. Down to 1100 HP, and the Chocoholic is still with the advantage. That Lightning, is perfect. The Electric Wizard gets the tower, looking to do even more damage, and this may be the final factor. Takes him down.
That's definitely it. The power of an Electro Giant, which does reach the tower, is tremendous, because they can hit the tower, and they're stunning the tower using the counterattack feature that they have, which is what makes them really interesting to play against and with. And if they reach the tower, they're scary to fight against. It's just trying to get them there. Also in that, we saw the Goblin from the Goblin Cage was just allowed to stroll over to the other side. So if that hadn't gone through, well, Chocoholic had 2 options there to really try and finish him off on either side and outplay him with dual laning. Chocoholic making the very right decision there to go, you know what? Let's try the other side. And sometimes you just have to take the risk. And it paid off.
Exactly. And the fact that obviously the Goblin Cage was there to neutralize that Lava Hound, and I don't think he was able to put any sort of support. Obviously, because he put the Electro Giant down, he made his way up to the tower. And I think Ivanovic was just thinking, oh, I've got to deal with this. Puts down all his cards to counter it. Couldn't really get much of a support in. Obviously, the ideal situation, he'd get the Lava Hound, he'd get the Baby Dragon, and then he'd get the balloons coming in and just do all the hard hitting. But he wasn't able to get that done. And obviously, here's a replay with the of the first match, actually, with the Lightning able to finish off the tower, and the Tornado, the actual final factor. And here's the final moment. That lightning once again coming into effect, taking down the hidden Tesla, taking down the Electro Wizard. And Ivanovic at this point, he can't do anything to stop it. And Chocoholic, unrelenting, that fireball completely useless against that Dark Knight. Because even if he didn't take down the right tower, that Dark Knight would have been so much damage onto the left. And you know what? Well played from Chocoholic. We saw why this is why he won last week, because he's a very good player.
Definitely, and clever use of cards there. We underestimated the Electro Giant going into that, and he showed up. No, what are you guys on about? This card's good. He can do stuff. It's just got to get there. It's got to be played right. But for 8 Elixir, dropping that on the bridge like he did was a very risky maneuver. But Goblin Cage is a great tank, and it just, Lava Hound with nothing behind it isn't actually that scary. Unlike the Giants, which are on their own.
Definitely, yeah. And that's exactly what we saw happen. Obviously doing all that damage without any sort of a need of a support. And, well, it did pay off. Anyway, we're going to be heading once again to a short break before our next match, which I believe will be Chocoholic versus Will. So, see you soon. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, we are back, this time with Chocoholic versus Will, and the question is, will Chocoholic be able to taste the sweet taste of victory, or will he be able to take it? Watson, what's your take on it? What's your prediction, and what about bans?
Well, this is a clash, as we can see. I mean, it's Clash Royale, but we've made that pun enough. This is a massive clash, Chocoholic being, of course, last week's winner, and Will, of course, being last season's winner, so, this should be good. 2 bans, as always. Will, with Poison, been banned a lot throughout tonight, and it's a great way of dealing with a lot of stuff. And Chocoholic has decided after the last game he does not want to deal with that Lava Hound again. It was scary. He's just gone. It's just no, go away. Which is, I think, a fair decision to make. He kind of got away with it last time. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Very, very close and very worrying. Obviously, Goblin Cage is basically only counter to it. And versus a player like Will, if Will was watching that, which I assume he was, because he's been waiting for this, so there's no reason why he wouldn't have, he would be thinking, so he's quite weak in the Lava Hound department, eh? The air defense is a bit lacking in his playstyle this week. So, yeah, no, he's not taking any chances at all. And Chocoholic, it's perhaps a good call from him, and have to see what Will does bring out.
I mean, yeah, Chocoholic's going to have changed that deck, though, from last time. We know he will. He's a seasoned player, and he knows that keeping the variety is very important. Be interesting to see if the Electro Giant comes out again. I'm going to have to stop underestimating it, that's for sure. It's just like, because as we were saying in the break, that it beats the classic counters for Giant, and you can kind of be like, what am I supposed to do? Anyway, let's see what they've brought. Will going straight in with those wall breakers, requiring an immediate reaction, and the Zappies do just that.
Wallbreakers can be they're a very tricky card to play against. Obviously, they're such low HP, but if they sneak through, if they just somehow get to the tower, if they're not negated, they do ridiculous damage. And we saw it a lot last season, especially from me. But and they can be fantastic, and that has been Will's weak spot occasionally. So the fact that he's bringing it out now, obviously bringing out the miner as well, he looking to a lot of chip damage perhaps.
Yeah, definitely with that Miner Spear Goblins combination. It's something I use a lot for more chippy styles. You kind of have the Spear Goblins behind something, and they'll probably do some damage to the tower if they're left ignored. But the Wall Breakers, I can just acquire an answer, and for 2 Elixir, they can do a lot, just not reaching it there. But we've got a big bomb coming very close to the tower, but will not make it from the Giant Skeleton.
Indeed, it just falls short, going to the bomb tower instead. And odd place to, or time to choose to place an Earthquake, because it's a bit too late, takes down the Spear Dragons, and obviously stops any sort of damage going through on his own tower, but not able to support the Zappies. In fact, they are taken down, only getting 1 hit off. As, well, the push on the right side is coming out from Will. Magic Archer taken down with not too much hassle. And Chocolate, he puts down Barbarian Baron, he's going to get a hit off on the tower. The Hunter may be able to as well, just in retaliation. Will is going to drop these Wall Breakers, and the Zappies once again going down, but this time he still can't get them. So close, a hair's length away from the tower, but they can't get there.
Just like we were saying about the Electro Giant, Zap mechanic in Clash Royale is so amazingly good. You just put it down, anything that can just do zaps, can stop plays, and I mean, you can't expect to get too much with just placing 2 Elixir cards at the bridge. We've got a defensive Skeleton Giant here. You can often do that with a Fisherman behind to try and grab some stuff across. I feel like it's just pulling them straight into the Giant, and here it is! The double Giant combo, which we've seen a fair bit of. With the Earthquake spell, it's going to make quick work of the bomb tower and allow the Royal Giant to maybe lock onto the tower eventually. Gets 1 shot off at least, but that's a fairly chufty amount of damage. Both of the right-hand sides looking pretty weak.
On the left side, well, that's coming in for Will. He's pushing through. 1 Wall Breaker getting there. Takes the tower down to a lot more than it should be. Miner obviously sitting there being the tank, but this push on the right side instead from Chocoholic. He's coming back into it. He drops the bomb tower. The Giant Skeleton is still alive. The Royal Giant's basically taken no damage. He's going to have to try counter it with Spear Goblins, which, if you didn't know, they're not the highest damage card. Tornado being the last card to come out from Will. He's going to pull back the Royal Giant, but damage has already been done. Down to 756 HP on that tower. That Barbarian Barrel going to finish off the Spear Goblins, and actually Will able to just about sidetrack the damage from any more damage from hitting that tower.
But as we come into sudden death, Chocoholic with the clear lead here, because when it comes down to sudden death, only 1 tower is needed. However, 2 Wall Breakers allowed to get through for Will. Evens the matchup almost immediately, though. That Royal Giant may have other things to say.
Yeah, obviously he's pushed on the right side, trying to do what he can. Earthquake, a bit too late. Not able to take down the bomb towers. The Royal Giant only getting just about 2 shots off, but it's down to 74. And when he gets an Earthquake back in his cycle, he'll be able to take it down. But Will has other plans. He's not letting this slide. He gets a Wall Breaker through. So low HP on that left side tower. The Fisherman just about able to finish it off. Almost finish it off. But yeah, the Earthquake is beautiful. Such a close game.
I mean, as we said a lot, having that spell at the end to win the game is just amazing. But Will not being able to get that final push in, so close. You almost felt for him as the last few scraps efforts for like, maybe I could just take this out before the Earthquake comes in. And there's the Earthquake. Spells, man, they're powerful. Always finish the game.
They really are. I think they recently nerfed the Earthquake spell against the Crown Tower damage, if I'm correct.
Yes,
so,
the Crown Tower damage got like a reduced 15%, but they buffed it against regular buildings, which I think is fair, because I think we got to a point where people were making like cycle decks for Earthquake, which, you know, spells are powerful, but they shouldn't be that powerful.
Yeah, so the fact that he's still using it, and the fact that he's still using it to a good effect to take down Will, last season's champion, I keep on saying that, it's very impressive. We'll have to see if Will can bring it back this match. Obviously, take it to the deciding match in this best of 3, as a Barbarian Barrel is countered with a Barbarian Barrel. Obviously, Electro Spirit going down once again, this time on Will's side, and does negate that Barbarian from doing any damage onto the tower. Sappy's brought out from Will, which is a bit of a change from his usual pattern. Ice was brought out from Chocoholic, so we'll have to see what they've got up for grabs.
True. Zappies, as I've said many times, a really cool card to play as he goes up against the Ice Wizard. But with the Dark Prince coming in, this could be interesting as we have our major action taking place on the right with a Skeleton Giant coming in against this attack. But it's going to easily sweep it up, I think. the Fisherman's going to take good care of everything. And now we have the push from Will.
That's looking very good early on from Will, and the Royal Giant drop behind him as well can be devastating, but what is the counter-attack? Or the defense from Chocoholic. Drops down that Goblin in a cage, and he finishes off the Giant, Skeleton Giant, while not able to do anything, and the Royal Giant only able to get one hit off the tower. They're coming back in there, obviously Zappies, they can be a massive nuisance, but the Baby Dragon, his area damage is basically the perfect counter. They're up so low already. Nice Wizard does finish off two of them, looking to finish off the third if he can just about get those attacks through. A bit painful there.
Give him a while, it takes him a while, he's an old man. Give him a moment. We're now seeing Will use the double giant check after Chocoholic just brought it out and won it. So maybe he's been like, well, you know, how's this bad? Let me have a go at this. You know. So interesting to see. Still, Chocoholic is lacking a kill card, but we did see on this, we've seen him bring out this deck before, and now my brain has forgotten what it was. Was it a balloon backing this up? Or was it something else? We'll see it. We will see it before this is over. I think it was, but the skeleton are having some problems trying to work out which way it wants to go across the bridge. I'm not really sure. I think the enemy fisherman had made his way over to the other side, and that's going to slow down the push dramatically. The hunter's going to get shut down, and the Electro Giant. That was it. This is Chocoholic's Electro Giant deck.
This is a perfect counter. Look at this. The fisherman, she swings him all the way across the right tower with a giant skeleton on weight, along with two of the Zappies, and that, in doing that, placing that fisherman down, that's basically giving the perfect counter-attack for Will. He's going to drop down that Royal Giant, instantly takes down that Goblin Cage, and looking to do even more damage. Does get one hit off before he is finished off by the supporting troops on the Chocoholic's side. Giant Skeleton, once again, not quite able to achieve too much. Damage has been done, and Will is leading as time is ticking away very slowly. But this Lightning, the final card in Chocoholic's deck, is going to do what he can, but it's not enough.
No, but as we come into extra time, it all comes down to just chipping away on one tower, and this has already been a one-tower game, so it's going to be a lot more of the same. The double giants are doing very well, but the tornado is being a surprisingly good counter, just like as he gets in range. No, you can't hit that tower, but it's still getting normally about one cannon shot in, and with how this is going, one cannon shot, well, 2 minutes of overtime to go, and then it comes down to damage, and chip damage is what matters at this point.
Definitely, that is definitely very true. And once again, he's not stopping with these pushes. He's not even changing anything up. He's chipping away, not stopping at this right side. And well, Chocoholic, he's trying again and again with these same counters. And once again, actually not this time, the Royal Giant can't quite fire off a shot before he does succumb to the non-stop barrage of damage from the troops. And this time, Chocoholic, he's going to be going for the Electro Giant at the back of the Crown Tower rather than straight on the bridge. And we'll have to see if he fares better in this time.
Well, it gives him an opportunity to build up. However, the Giant's speed kind of counteracts a lot of that opportunity you'd get from other slow 8 elixir units like the Golem. But it's made its way quite quickly through the Giant Skeleton, which has been acting as a tank. And alongside that Lightning, it's gonna... No, but the Tornado gives it an opening to make it to the tower. And now we're going to see it run havoc as the Royal Giant was placed down and just completely ignores it. You know, that's not a building. I'm not going to go and touch that, am I?
He doesn't care, and well, once again, he's able to not able to fire off a shot. Left side's done a lot of damage from Will, and instead he's actually going to be switching up once. 38 seconds left in overtime. He's going to be putting the Giant with the Zappies to support him on the left side. Barbarian Barrel coming out as well, and he gets one shot off, looking for a second, but the Tornado does deter him. And well, the HP is low, but it's not low enough. On the right side, Will's tower, 1000 HP. Chocoholic just about for the win, but look at this counter push. Giant Skeleton going down, Royal Giant as well.
Hit here. He's going to need a lot to hit. We need about 300 health to win this when it comes down to the overtime countdown, or the tiebreaker. That's the one I'm looking for. And it doesn't look like it's going to make it through. This looks like it's Chocoholics. The fireball is just not going to be enough. Will the Royal Giant get in? He's gone for the Lightning. Yeah, Chocoholic has got this one in the bag due to the damage done. And Will is not happy about it.
Yeah, he really isn't. I'd imagine they've been a very cheeky game, and by so many times. Constantly with Clash Royale, you think this push is ridiculous. They can't be just stopped here. And then somehow, with a Goblin Cage and a Baby Dragon and an Ice Wizard, he just stops it. And then he comes back and he does all the damage on the right side. It's ridiculous. You think, oh, Ice Wizard, his damage is a bit meh. Yeah. Goblin Cage, what? And then he just destroys the push.
Yeah.
Mad.
It's amazing. Splash does stuff. Ice Wizard slowing down the entire push, so it allows everything else to do more damage. That's his main role in a defense. And the Goblin Cage can just absorb the hits. Everything was going towards it, and then it gets released, and the Goblin can then go to town. and also keep tanking against the giant skeleton. What I do want to point out is Will's use of the giant skeleton was almost defensive. Like, it was basically the push that was coming was going to get stopped by that giant skeleton, but it wasn't enough.
There was so many times.
It was enough. The defense worked. Fundamentally, the defense in that game by Will was impressive. Just couldn't get enough damage on.
Yeah, and as we see in the replay here, that was the first match with Will obviously getting so close with those wall breakers, but not quite close enough. And obviously, Chocoholic came in with that earthquake, finishes off that right side tower. That was so close. And it makes you ask, what if Will got like 1 or 2 wall breakers that he consistently used? What if they got through? What if they did damage to that tower? He won that first match, would be on the deciding one. Maybe Will takes it. Who knows? It's so close. And actually in the chat here, he actually said that lag did kind of ruin his push and he built up 7 elixir. So the fact, if that can be maddening, I get mad playing on ladder with that. I can't imagine how, I mean, I don't know how angry he can get, but if that did happen, if that's not just him making an excuse, if he did lag, he could have definitely won that. He could have turned it around. As you said, the defense was solid. The giant skeleton doing so much damage with that bomb, taking out so many troops in one go. He definitely could have taken that both times.
Any lag is an issue there. But what is extremely interesting is that Will, in that second game, did more damage to the Princess Towers. But because he decided to split it, trying to get one of the towers before extra time ended, he actually lost out because of how Tiebreaker works. And that's the balancing act you've got to make when you decide, let's try the second lane out. You're risking losing because it's down to which tower has one tower has the most damage on it. Anyway, we've made our way to the big one. Chocoholic and Mushroom will be up very shortly. I'm excited. Don't know about you, it's going to be pretty good. Thank you to our sponsors, Logitech G and Unite Students, and we will see you right after the break. Nope. No break.
That's fantastic.
We're going straight in. Masterfully done. I should have, yeah. Oh well. Well, in that case, we're very excited to see what is going to come with the final. Mushroom's going to start with that 1 point lead over Chocoholic, which will be quite interesting to see. Can Chocoholic make it back? What do you think, Ant?
Well, we saw him win last week, and obviously we've seen him go through this lower bracket, and he's been a very strong opponent. And the fact that he did give Will a good fight, and obviously won 2-0, it's very. I guess he's got confidence. He's got to have confidence. The fact that he just takes down Will 2-0, he's got to have confidence coming into this fight. But Mushroom, he's a different kind of opponent. He's a very strong player in his own right, and as you said, he does have the one match advantage, and that may come into play if it comes down like 2-2. Mushroom, he win just off that.
Indeed, best of 5 here, and Mushroom coming in with that slight lead, and I think favoured to win this. It could be interesting. Mushroom already probably quite happy that he's done better than he did last week, but will definitely want more than where he is now. That's for sure.
Definitely. And as we do get the bans through, Chocoholic has gone for the graveyard, actually. So I'm not a Lava Hound. So, Mushroom, he's the man instead who's gone for the Lava Hound ban. He's not fancying it. He's not taking any of it. And, we do get into it. Good luck indeed, Chocoholic. Let's see if he can, make his way through and take, once again, for the second week, a victory.
I mean, the amount of point lead he will have on 2 victories in a row will be deeply impressive, but Mushroom will definitely want to get in there and not let that happen as the game begins. Mushroom already down with the Bandit to try and make some plays happen, and Chocoholic showing his love for Zap-like decks, or Zap-like characters, and there is the Flying Machine.
Indeed, it was banned, it was by Will a few games ago, so the fact that we're actually seeing it come out now is interesting. And, a little bit of damage from the poison on the left side tower. And here we go, the Royal Recruits, I believe they are, put right at the back by Chocoholic.
A very scary thing, because it's just 7 elixir. Have fun. Here's 2 lane pushes. And if I put something behind either of them, you've got to keep an eye on that.
Like this.
He's going full 2 lane pushes with the Royal Hogs, allowing him to push in both lanes very easily and get a solid chunk, on the left-hand tower, but the right-hand tower nicely cleaned up by the infamous Mega Knight.
That's a very perfect defense from almost perfect defense from Mushroom, but a perfect defense from Chocoholic. That obviously Goblin Cage doing so much, and the Zappies on the right side, they do take down that offensive card there. It's going to do a lot of damage. I'm actually going to push through even further, and they would zap, and that would basically end up meaning the tower takes down the Goblin Cage. But, if said, Electro Wizard, he's the man to push through. He's going to try to do what he can, but he's going to succumb to the tower and the Zap Spirit. Not to do much. Bandit once again used by Mushroom, trying to get a sneaky attack in, but Royal Recruits once again coming out from Chocoholic, and this time there's 4 on the left and 2 on the right, and we'll have to see where the Mega Knight comes into play. Ram Rider.
Well, the Bandit caused the split to be slightly different to what Chocoholic would have expected, so let's see if he can pull something out. Chocoholic definitely coming in with a clear lead in this, at least, game on its own. We have a slight damage advantage, but considering a double elixir, not a huge amount has actually been played. It's been quite a slow game, though not felt like it. It's very interesting to see what happens next.
It's definitely gone a lot quicker than it's felt, as you do say. And well, Fireball, the last card of Chocoholic coming out. Look at this push, the Bandit coming in, trying to do what he can. There's no Zappies to stop the Ram Rider here. He can get through, but he is stopped by the Zap Spirit. Royal Recruits doing all the damage they can as well. And the Zappies are played to basically minimize that damage. He does get 1 hit off, I believe. And that's actually a pretty good defense from Chocoholic. Not quite good enough, perhaps, as the counter offense does come in. Royal Hogs once again going down. 3 on the right side, but instead they split, they go for the cannon cart, and they are taken down instantly by the towers and the Electro Wizard. But the HP advantage is still in favour of Chocoholic.
Yes, indeed. Chocoholic is very much, even though he's going for these splits, he's not doing much damage to either. Now, yes, that is common with a split lane push, but I think he was hoping to do a slightly bit more to one than the other, which is often happens, someone over defends a side. But Mushroom is not having that. He is defending both sides extremely well, and the poison is doing work, and the Zappy is also going to do work on that Ram Rider, shutting it down. It's the problem with the charging units when you've not banned Zappies out or any other the electrics, especially Zappies, because they will just shut that stuff down more than a Zap spell will, because it's just continuous zap.
See, that's the thing, though. Obviously, he's got the Zappies, because they're such weak HP. Mushroom has the poison to be the counter, and that basically destroys the Zappies. Doesn't do too much damage at all. And look at this push on the right side. Barbarian Barrel, they do a lot of blanket damage, but there's so many troops getting through. The Royal Hogs doing so much damage onto that tower. Down to 1200. The Fireball as well, doing a lot. Takes the Hunter and Bandit almost down to death. The Mega Knight on the left side, I think. And the counter push coming out from Mushroom. Not quite able to do anything as that Goblin Cage is perfectly placed.
Yeah, that was impressively shot down by Chocoholic for that entire push. And that's the thing about the Hogs. Unlike a lot of other charging units where you've got one, you shut it down, the Hog, there's less health. But there's 4 of them, and they can kind of act like a swarm. As the Ram Rider once again is shut down from making it through, thanks just to the mass of people stopping it. And here come the Hogs again.
Once again, yeah, they're going down, but they're not quite able to do too much damage, perhaps as much as they like to. The Flying Machine, obviously, that did do almost a lot of damage. The counter push coming in from Mushroom, and he may be able to slip through here. The Zappies, though, they are stopping that Ram Rider once again. The poison is a bit too late. We can't do the damage in time. Despite doing even more damage on the right side, Mushroom is actually drawing it very, very close. With so little time left, 10 seconds now, and the Royal Recruits, they're completely demolished by that Mega Knight. Goblin Cage going to be coming in, almost taken down by that Ram Rider and the Mega Knight combination. So much damage coming through, but he can't quite get to the tower in enough time. And Chocoholic is going to come out on top. And, well, that's a good start for him if he wants to get back into this series. Or get into this series.
Well, yeah, get into this series, and let's see if he can get a second win under his belt in 2 weeks. Very interesting for Chocoholic there to win on a tiebreaker. You often find split pushes decks like that with the Royal Recruits and the Hogs. They do a lot of damage to both towers, but if the enemy can push back enough, you'll find one tower much weaker than the others. But no, in that case, especially with that 4-hog push all in one lane that we saw, the tower just starts crumbling away, and he wasn't able to defend as hard as Chocoholic was. So yes, we're back at 1-1. Chocoholic, like, you remember that advantage? You don't have that.
It's gone. It was a very hard-fought match, though. It's very, very, very hard fought, and I don't know if he's going to have. Well, obviously, you have to have a certain degree of stamina to take this to 5 matches, or 4 matches, if you need to. We'll have to see. And one thing about Mushroom that I've got to say about that last match is that his deck was by no means bad against it. He had the poison to counter the Zappies. He had the Mega Knight to counter the Royal Hogs, Royal Recruits. He just couldn't get through, couldn't get the damage. And if he does get perhaps taken down or like unlucky with the deck picks in this matchup, then Chocoholic may take it much more convincingly, but we don't know. We'll have to find out. And you get into the next match. Royal Giant once again being brought up by Chocoholic with the Fisherman directly behind him for support. Actually taken down by that Bomb Tower and the Barbarian Barrel, and tries to do damage to the tower, and actually gets 2 shots off before eventually succumbing to all that Fireball and stabby sword damage.
Well, it looks like we can assume, I imagine, Chocoholic is once again bringing the double giant deck we've seen a lot of so far tonight. With Mushroom bringing something slightly more defensively, he's going to have to rely on that bomb tower to do work, but we have seen it do quite a bit on similar decks so far tonight, so that's going to be interesting to see as the Zappies get swiftly dealt with by the Ice Wizard. And there's the Loon. Let's see if he can make it through with no buildings for Chocoholic as an immediate counter to it.
Does he have any counters? I think the only counters he has is Zappies, and the balloon is just going to continue. It's going to get to the tower. The Hunter doing as much damage, so much damage, but it's not enough to take him down. And oops, indeed, Chocoholic. That may cost you this this match. 666 damage left on that tower. Obviously, the Giant Skeleton is, I say he's going to get to the tower, but the Tornado is perfect from Mushroom. It's going to remove the threat of that bomb, and he comes out ahead, but he doesn't have the Elixir lead. So we'll have to see what Chocoholic can bring out to try even this up.
Well, he's straight in with that Royal Giant in an attempt to get some damage back, but we're right. The balloon, Chocoholic looks pretty weak to it. Apart from the Hunter and Zappies, he's not got a huge amount. Meanwhile, the Royal Giant has been allowed to do work while I'm talking about the last push and bring it down to just under 1,000 health, but here is yet another Loon push. But the Zappies are in this time, and I don't think it's going to get very far.
Perfect placement as he does take it down the balloon, or the bomb, sorry. Going to get very close and does do damage, but no actual bomb dropped. So we can't finish off that tower. There's still 400 HP left on it. The Tornado and the Barbarian Barrel, that combination is devastating to the Zappies. And the Royal Giant, he's not quite able to do as much as they'd like to. Zappies once again dropped. The Baby Dragon will be trying to do as much area damage as he can against it. The Lightning, though, from Mushroom takes him down to 130. It's so close, and if that Baby Dragon does damage, but he doesn't, he could have finished it there and then. Royal Giant counter push, though, coming out. The bomb tower does distract it, and oh, will he get a shot off?
It doesn't look like it. The bomb tower has done its job, and will Mushroom attempt to just cycle for lightning? Probably not, because it's a bit expensive to try and do that with. But he's bringing in the balloon, and it looks like he's not got enough. He's just got the lightning. He's just not even going to let the balloon hit the landing. It's just going to finish that.
That's pretty funny. Oh no, at least the bomb will finish it off. Oh no, he just wanted to do lightning anyway, just for overkill, just because it's funny. You know what, Fez, you don't want to leave it to chance? Do you want to leave it to any sort of a tornado, or even though I don't think have a tornado? Well played from Mushroom, and a lot better. That's the Mushroom that we're used to seeing, and a lot more in control, a lot more measured there, and obviously coming out with the victory.
Definitely, and we saw amazing bomb tower placement against that Royal Giant. The Royal Giant, relatively easy to shut down now with a good building placement as well as something to support it. And the counter pushes with everything that Mushroom had were pretty impressive, all things considered.
That first balloon, that was the thing that really hit Chocoholic very hard, and the fact that he couldn't recover from that. Obviously, if they didn't, I think it was 2 hits the balloon got off there. If he didn't have those 2 hits, or even if he didn't have if he only had 1 of them, then you know what? It could have gone in Chocoholic's favor. So the fact that it was that close, despite Mushroom basically asserting dominance with that balloon card, it could have been it could have gone Chocoholic's way. And well, he's going to have a clean sweep here now. He's going to have both this match and the next one to win. Mushroom only needing to win in this one, and we'll have to see who does come out on top.
It will be interesting to see. I think Mushroom's going to feel quite confident after that last match and the Loon exploits. He got his timing very right in that. And as we see, Mushroom does take a fair bit of damage very early on from that Bandit letting it come through, and he's not happy about it. But nothing really coming the other way right now from Mushroom to Chocoholic, as Chocoholic looks like he's slightly in control with the Mega Knight down.
Yeah, that's a very damaging and very dangerous card to have on the field. He drops down the Ram Rider, apologies, on the right side, and that's going to do a lot of damage to that tower. The Mega Knight is going to get taken down by that combination of the Baby Dragon, the Princess Tower, and the Goblin Cage. And they're going to try for the counter push, but this is a perfect Bandit placement. Is going to finish off the Goblin Cage. And Chocoholic with it right out of the gates. That start is perfect. But what can they do? What can he counteract the Royal Giant with? And, well, it's an Inferno Dragon at the moment, and he's going to finish him off with only 2 hits from the Royal Giant hitting the tower.
Chocoholic, once again, doing a surprising amount of split pushes. We saw the Mega Knight on one side and then the Ram Rider on the other. And that did amazing work because they were both allowed to hit. Mushroom does not look, from the emote play anyway, confident in his play for this one, and he looks like he's almost expected the loss already. We will see, though. He's far from likely to give up. As the snowball comes raining in, trying to get that little extra damage off. Pretty sure what that snowball was there for. I'm not really sure what that was trying to hit, but I guess it's a bit of tower damage. Maybe a rotation. And the Ram Rider comes through, and there's the cage.
well, maybe not perfect placement since he does go straight in front of him, but well, nevertheless, it does completely stop any sort of damage getting through to the tower. Obviously, the Goblin from the Goblin cage isn't able to do much at all. It does get one hit off on the Mega Knight, and he's going to be subject to a lot of damage here. Gets the jumping boost damage, but he's struck by lightning, and he's basically finished off by the tower and the Ice Wizard. The Inferno Dragon, he's going to fall victim to the tower as well. With the poison, that's going to do a lot of damage. Finish off both of the cards on Mushroom's side, and keep that, or maintain that HP advantage. Barbarian Barrel not able to get anywhere, completely taken down. Well, this push may be absolutely crucial for Mushroom. Royal Giant obviously going in, doing a lot of damage, so much HP. The Tornado pulls away the Inferno Dragon, and he's going to continue to do damage. 952 HP on that tower. Look at this. Ram Rider, once again, completely neutralized by that Goblin Cage. And in fact, Mushroom, despite having maybe a lack of confidence, it's maybe worrying us slightly, he's actually going to turn it around and come back out on top.
Well, we were saying that there's some mind games being played here by some of these high-level players and making it look like they're going to lose and then turn out to win. And that seems to be taking place yet again here with a little damage advantage coming in from Mushroom now. However, the full health Mega Knight on the bridge. But Mushroom with plenty of elixir. Bandit on the right-hand side to try and make it play something else. But the Ice Wizard is going to act as a tank and at least a kite. As a Ram Rider comes in, Chocoholic is not stopping with this push, but needs to get more damage in. We're in a minute and a half left before that tiebreaker, and currently Mushroom is looking like he's going to take that. Unless this... Oh! That Royal Giant. You don't see defensive Royal Giants often, but I think that counts as one.
You say defensive, it didn't really do that much. That lightning spell, that was very defensive. That basically finishes off the sort of attack that Mushroom was trying to build, but he's not stopping there. That bandit on the right side does even more damage, not quite enough to even it up. The Ram Rider, once again, neutralized by that Goblin Cage. He's going to be finished off by the punching with his brass knuckles. And Mushroom, he's just going to hold on here. He's going to drop once again the Royal Giant. The Inferno Dragon and the Mega Knight trying to do what they can. The Snowball coming in as well. But the lightning from Mushroom. He says, good game. And indeed it is. Mushroom's going to finish it off. He's going to take that victory in that map. And he's going to take this best of 5. 3, 2, 1.
And Mushroom takes the tournament. That is deeply impressive. Once again, we've got to stop underestimating these competitors, okay? When they look like they're down, that's the moment they, unleash their second form and are like, all right, we've got this. That was a really great play. Once again, we saw Lightning be extremely powerful, and the Royal Giant, if you've not got a building to counter it, is extremely damaging because it doesn't have to get very far into the enemy and to your side of the map before it starts dealing damage to your Princess Tower.
Yeah, definitely. And well, we saw Mushroom's versatility, as we said, he was slightly worried at the start, but obviously pulled it back. And despite the consistent attacking non-stop from Chocoholic, he just couldn't squeeze any more damage through. I think he obviously the early damage on the left side from the bandit, and you think, oh no, Mushroom, what are you doing? And then he's just stopped. Chocoholic basically gets pretty much nothing through, any no substantial damage through anymore. And well played from Mushroom, and we see why he's one of these strongest contenders in this tournament. Obviously winning in the upper bracket and then finishing off Chocoholic. You've got to ask, what happens if he didn't have that advantage? Would it have gone any further? Who knows? But
who knows? Another game could have been a completely different results. Mushroom doing extremely well, yes. Chocoholic, I feel bad for once again, especially in that last fight. He looked like he was in control, but you can lose control with a couple of bad plays in this game, and that's what makes it interesting, and that's what makes it just great fun to watch these amazing players at work.
Definitely. And well, if you want to join in, if you're watching out there and you're thinking, I play Clash Royale, I want to join in, by all means, go for it. Obviously, there are lots of prizes up for grabs. And, well, if you want to join in, obviously join the Newell Discord, discord.gg/thenewell. And there's plenty of people here to talk to about Clash Royale. Even if you don't want to join the tournament, plenty of people to make friends and learn about the game, actually. Because you do learn a lot. And, well, unless, Watson, you got any closing remarks?
Well, obviously, we have to thank our sponsors, Unite Students, Logitech and Twitch Students, for making this show possible. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this amazing stuff. Follow the Newell on Twitter. That's my big thing to tell you to do. I highly recommend it. There's some really good tweets on there. I occasionally see something from me, if you're lucky. And League of Legends Raid now, from the looks of things. I think this is always the fun bit at the end of a stream, when you get messages coming in from the producers saying, do this, do this, do this, and then you have to work out what they actually mean. But yes, I think that is everything. Yes, super fun.
Yeah.
Yes,
we'll be rating... shout out to all the obviously other streams. Tomorrow night is going to be CS:GO. If you enjoy CS or enjoy watching games at all, definitely worth a watch. So make sure you tune in for that. And unless you have any closing remarks, Watson?
Well, obviously, come back next week for more Clash Royale, back with the usual 2 broadcasting crew members. We'll try and keep up to their standards, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for even more Clash Royale. It never ends here on the Newell.
Never.